Top 10 Defenders of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. When people talk about the World Cup, the conversation usually starts with the goals. The spectacular volleys, the last-minute winners, and the players who lift the trophy often dominate the headlines. But every great team has another story behind its success. For every goal scored, there's a defender who prevented one at the other end. A perfectly timed tackle, a crucial interception, or a clearance off the goal line can change the course of a match just as much as a stunning finish. The 2026 FIFA World Cup reminded us exactly why defenders deserve the spotlight. Throughout the tournament, they faced the world's best attackers under immense pressure and consistently delivered when their teams needed them most. In this series, we're counting down the 10 defenders who stood out above the rest. We'll revisit every match they played, look at the moments that defined their tournament, and explain why they earned a place among the very best. Let's begin with number 10. Coming in at number 10 is Portugal's flying left-back, Nuno Mendes. Before the tournament even kicked off, Mendes had already built a reputation as one of the most complete full-backs in world football. His speed is obvious, but what really makes him special is his decision-making. He knows exactly when to attack, when to hold his position, and when to commit to a challenge. That balance was on full display throughout Portugal's World Cup campaign. Portugal entered the tournament with high expectations, and Mendes wasted no time showing why he was one of the first names on the team sheet. From the opening whistle of the first group match, he was constantly involved. Whenever Portugal had possession, he pushed high up the left flank, giving his teammates another passing option and stretching the opposition's defensive shape. Yet, despite his attacking runs, he never forgot his primary responsibility. Whenever Portugal lost the ball, Mendes sprinted back into position. Instead of diving into risky tackles, he stayed patient, guided attackers away from dangerous areas, and waited for the right moment to win the ball back. That calm approach became a pattern throughout the group stage. Opposing wingers tried to beat him with pace. Others attempted to outmuscle him. Very few succeeded. One of Mendes' biggest strengths was how comfortable he looked under pressure. Even when pressed by multiple opponents, he rarely panicked. Instead of launching hopeful clearances, he played simple, accurate passes that allowed Portugal to keep control of possession. By the end of the group stage, it was clear he had become one of Portugal's most reliable performers. Round of 32, Portugal versus Croatia. Portugal's first knockout test came against Croatia, a side known for its technical quality and experience on the biggest stage. It was exactly the kind of match where defenders earn their reputation. Croatia looked to create overloads down the flanks, hoping to isolate Portugal's fullbacks. Mendes had other ideas. Every time Croatia threatened to break forward, he matched their runners stride for stride. His recovery pace prevented several dangerous attacks before they could develop, while his positioning forced Croatian players into difficult angles instead of allowing them clear opportunities to cross. His timing in the tackle was excellent. Rather than making reckless challenges, he waited until attackers committed themselves before stepping in to win possession cleanly. As Portugal grew into the game, Mendes also became an important attacking outlet. He repeatedly overlapped down the left side, delivered dangerous crosses into the box, and helped Portugal maintain pressure in Croatia's half. His ability to contribute at both ends of the pitch gave Portugal an extra dimension whenever they attacked. By the final whistle, Portugal had booked their place in the round of 16, and Mendes had quietly delivered another outstanding performance. Round of 16, Portugal versus Spain. Portugal's World Cup journey ended against eventual champion Spain, but Mendes once again showed exactly why he belongs among the world's elite defenders. Facing one of the tournament's strongest attacking teams is never easy. Spain dominated possession, constantly moving the ball from one side of the pitch to the other in search of space. Mendes spent long periods defending, yet he never lost his concentration. He tracked runners tirelessly, blocked dangerous crosses, and made several important recoveries whenever Spain looked ready to break through. Even late in the match, when fatigue had begun to affect everyone on the pitch, Mendes was still chasing back, making tackles, and fighting for every loose ball. Portugal were eventually eliminated, but their left-back walked away with his reputation stronger than ever. Sometimes a defender's quality isn't measured by whether his team wins. It's measured by how he performs against the very best. Mendes passed that test. Why he deserves this ranking. Nuno Mendes may not have scored goals or produced the tournament's biggest headlines, but he gave Portugal something every successful team needs: stability. He defended with intelligence instead of desperation. He attacked without leaving his teammates exposed. He rarely made mistakes, and he maintained the same high standard from the opening group match until Portugal's final whistle of the tournament. That's what separates good defenders from great ones. Consistency. At just 24 years old, Mendes already plays with the composure of a veteran, and based on what we saw in 2026, he's likely to remain one of the world's best left-backs for many years. For those reasons, Nuno Mendes earns the number 10 spot on our list of the best defenders of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Every World Cup introduces the world to new stars. Some arrive with huge expectations, while others quietly go about their business until everyone starts asking the same question: who is this player? That was exactly the story of Ecuador's Willian Pacho. Coming into the tournament, football fans knew he was a talented defender. But after a series of commanding performances against some of the world's best attackers, he left the World Cup with a reputation as one of football's elite center-backs. Strong in the air, calm under pressure, and incredibly intelligent in his positioning, Pacho became the foundation of Ecuador's impressive run. Here's why he earns the number 9 spot on our list. Center-backs rarely receive the same attention as goal-scorers. When they do their job perfectly, people barely notice them. That's exactly what made Willian Pacho so effective. He wasn't the loudest player on the pitch. He didn't dive into unnecessary tackles or celebrate every clearance. Instead, he read the game so well that he often stopped attacks before they became dangerous. That quiet confidence became one of Ecuador's greatest strengths throughout the tournament. The group stage. Ecuador entered a difficult group knowing every point would matter. From the opening match, Pacho looked completely at home on football's biggest stage. His first challenge was organizing Ecuador's defensive line, making sure there were no gaps for opposing forwards to exploit. Time and again, he stepped in at exactly the right moment to intercept passes before attackers could turn. When crosses came into the penalty area, he dominated in the air, winning header after header and relieving pressure on his teammates. One thing that stood out immediately was his composure. Many defenders panic when pressed by fast attackers. Pacho never did. Instead of rushing his clearances, he stayed calm, picked out simple passes, and helped Ecuador build attacks from the back. As the group stage progressed, opponents began avoiding his side altogether. That alone spoke volumes. Round of 32, Ecuador versus Mexico. Ecuador's knockout journey began against Mexico. It was a match that demanded discipline and concentration for the full 90 minutes. Mexico tried to stretch Ecuador's defense by switching play quickly and sending runners behind the backline. Pacho read the danger brilliantly. Whenever Mexico looked ready to create space, he stepped across to cut out passes or forced attackers away from goal. His timing was exceptional. Instead of making desperate last-second challenges, he anticipated where the ball would go and arrived there first. Throughout the match, he won important aerial duels from corners and free kicks, preventing Mexico from building momentum. Whenever Ecuador came under pressure, Pacho remained composed, encouraging his teammates and keeping the defensive line organized. Ecuador secured a memorable victory, and once again, Pacho was one of the biggest reasons why. Round of 16, Ecuador versus Norway. The round of 16 brought an even tougher challenge against Norway. Norway's attack relied heavily on physical strength and direct football, testing Ecuador's defenders with constant long balls and aggressive forward play. This was where Pacho truly impressed. He matched Norway's forwards physically while also showing outstanding anticipation. Instead of allowing attackers to bring the ball down comfortably, he challenged early, disrupted their rhythm, and won possession before they could turn toward goal. Several dangerous crosses were cleared by Pacho before they reached Norwegian attackers inside the 6-yard box. His communication with his fellow defenders was equally important. He constantly adjusted the defensive line, pointed teammates into position, and made sure Ecuador stayed compact even during long periods without the ball. Every decision matters. Every mistake is magnified. For Virgil van Dijk, however, pressure has never been something to fear. It's something he has learned to embrace. Throughout the tournament, he organized the Dutch defense with confidence, constantly communicating with teammates and ensuring the backline stayed compact. His leadership was just as valuable as his defending. Group stage. The Netherlands entered the tournament aiming to control games through possession while remaining difficult to break down. Van Dijk quickly became the anchor of that plan. From the opening match, his positioning stood out. Rather than chasing attackers all over the pitch, he stayed composed, guided teammates into position, and forced opponents into areas where they posed less danger. His aerial dominance was another huge advantage. Whether defending corners or clearing long balls, Van Dijk consistently won the first contact, preventing second ball opportunities before they could develop. When the Netherlands built attacks from the back, he remained calm even under pressure. Instead of simply clearing the ball, he looked for midfielders with accurate passes, helping his team maintain possession. It was vintage Virgil van Dijk. Round of 32, Netherlands vs Morocco. The Netherlands faced Morocco in one of the most evenly matched fixtures of the round of 32. Both teams defended exceptionally well, and chances were difficult to create. Van Dijk spent much of the match dealing with Morocco's pace and movement in attack. Several times he stepped in to intercept dangerous through balls before Moroccan forwards could reach them. His timing remained almost flawless. Whenever Morocco attempted crosses into the box, Van Dijk dominated in the air, clearing the danger before attackers could challenge. As the game became more physical, his experience became increasingly important. He calmed younger teammates, slowed the tempo when necessary, and ensured the Dutch defense never lost its shape. After 90 minutes and extra time, the match remained level and went to penalties. Unfortunately for the Netherlands, Morocco edged the shootout and ended their World Cup journey. Although eliminated, Van Dijk could leave the tournament knowing he had once again delivered a captain's performance. Hat made him different. Many defenders recover situations with spectacular tackles. Van Dijk often prevented those situations from happening at all. His understanding of space allowed him to intercept passes before attackers received the ball. His patience meant he rarely committed unnecessary fouls. His strength ensured very few forwards could outmuscle him. Perhaps his greatest quality was his composure. No matter how intense the game became, he never appeared rushed. That calmness spread throughout the entire Dutch defense. The legacy continues. By 2026, Virgil van Dijk had already won league titles, domestic cups, and the UEFA Champions League. The World Cup was another opportunity to demonstrate why he has remained among football's elite defenders for so many years. While the Netherlands were disappointed to exit in the round of 32, Van Dijk's individual performances reminded everyone that class doesn't disappear with age. He continued to defend with intelligence, authority, and remarkable consistency. Those qualities have defined his entire career. Why he earns number 8. Not every great tournament ends with a trophy. Sometimes greatness is measured by individual performances under difficult circumstances. Virgil van Dijk remained dependable from beginning to end. He led by example. He won crucial aerial battles. He organized his teammates. And he gave the Netherlands every chance to compete. For another outstanding World Cup campaign, Virgil van Dijk earns the number 8 spot among the best defenders of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Very few defenders can change a game at both ends of the pitch. Some are outstanding going forward but leave spaces behind them. Others defend brilliantly but offer very little in attack. Achraf Hakimi is different. He has built his career on combining explosive pace with relentless work ethic. Whether Morocco needed a crucial tackle, a recovery run, or an overlapping attack down the right flank, Hakimi was almost always involved. At the 2026 FIFA World Cup, he once again proved why he's considered one of the best fullbacks in the world. After Morocco's historic run to the semi-finals in 2022, expectations were much higher in 2026. Opponents knew exactly what Hakimi could do. Stopping him was another matter. The group stage. Morocco approached the tournament with confidence, relying on quick transitions and disciplined defending. Hakimi was central to both. Whenever Morocco won possession, he burst down the right wing, turning defense into attack within seconds. His pace forced opposing wingers to track back, reducing their own attacking threat. Defensively, Hakimi was just as impressive. He rarely allowed attackers to isolate him in one-on-one situations. Instead, he anticipated their next move, timed his tackles well, and used his recovery speed whenever opponents managed to break into space. One of the biggest improvements in his game was his decision-making. Rather than crossing every opportunity, he chose the right moments to attack and the right moments to stay alongside his center-backs. That balance made Morocco much harder to break down. Round of 32. Morocco vs Netherlands. Morocco's knockout journey began against the Netherlands in one of the tournament's tightest contests. Hakimi faced the challenge of dealing with dangerous Dutch attacks while still providing width whenever Morocco pushed forward. Early in the match, he made several important interceptions that prevented crosses from reaching Morocco's penalty area. His positioning was excellent. Instead of being caught too high up the pitch, he judged exactly when to attack and when to stay back. As the game became more physical, Hakimi's leadership became increasingly important. He encouraged teammates, kept the defensive shape organized, and continued making recovery runs whenever the Netherlands looked dangerous. After a tense match that eventually went to penalties, Morocco held their nerve and booked a place in the round of 16. Hakimi had once again delivered when his country needed him most. Round of 16. Morocco vs Canada. Canada arrived full of confidence after an impressive tournament. They attacked with pace, pressed aggressively, and looked to exploit the wide areas. Hakimi responded with one of his best performances of the tournament. He repeatedly won one-on-one battles, cutting out dangerous passes before Canadian attackers could reach them. His recovery speed was outstanding. On several occasions, Canada appeared to have space behind Morocco's defense, only for Hakimi to sprint back and stop the attack at the last moment. Going forward, he remained a constant outlet. His overlapping runs stretched Canada's defensive line and created more room for Morocco's attackers to operate. Morocco won comfortably, and Hakimi was once again among the standout performers. Quarter-final. Morocco vs France. The quarter-final presented Hakimi with perhaps his toughest test. France possessed one of the strongest attacks in the tournament, with pace, movement, and technical quality across the front line. Hakimi spent long periods defending under intense pressure. Even so, he rarely looked overwhelmed. He blocked crosses, made several perfectly timed tackles, and recovered possession in dangerous areas. Although France eventually won and ended Morocco's World Cup dream, Hakimi never stopped fighting. Even in the closing minutes, he continued making forward runs whenever Morocco had a chance to attack. That determination reflected everything he brought to the team. Why he was one of the tournament's best. Modern football demands much more from fullbacks than simply defending. Hakimi delivered everything. He defended with discipline. He attacked with confidence. He led by example. Most importantly, he never allowed his energy levels to drop, regardless of the opposition or the stage of the tournament. His ability to influence matches in both penalty areas made him one of the most complete defenders at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Why he earns number 7. Some players lead with words. Achraf Hakimi led with actions. Every sprint, every tackle, every interception, and every recovery run showed his commitment to Morocco's success. Even though Morocco's tournament ended in the quarterfinals, Hakimi walked away having strengthened his reputation as one of football's finest fullbacks. For another exceptional World Cup campaign, Achraf Hakimi earns the number 7 spot on our list. Some defenders don't just stop attacks, they intimidate attackers before the battle even begins. Standing at just over 5 feet 9 inches, Lisandro Martínez has spent his entire career proving that great defenders aren't defined by their height. They're defined by their heart, timing, and willingness to fight for every ball. Nicknamed the Butcher, Martínez brought his trademark aggression, passion, and leadership to the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Every tackle, every block, and every interception reflected the determination that has made him one of the toughest defenders in modern football. As Argentina set out to defend the world title they won in 2022, Martínez became one of the pillars of their backline. Whenever Argentina needed someone to throw themselves in front of a shot, win a crucial tackle, or inspire the team with sheer determination, Lisandro Martínez answered the call. He wasn't always the tallest player on the field. He didn't need to be. His anticipation allowed him to arrive first, and his courage meant he never backed away from a challenge. That mentality defined his tournament. The group stage. Argentina began the tournament carrying the pressure that comes with being defending champions. Every opponent wanted to be the team that knocked them off their throne. From the opening match, Martínez showed he was ready for that challenge. He kept Argentina's defensive line organized, stepping forward to intercept passes before opposition strikers had the chance to turn. Whenever crosses entered the penalty area, he attacked the ball fearlessly, often beating taller forwards with his timing rather than his height. One of the most impressive aspects of his game was his composure. Even under heavy pressure, Martínez rarely rushed his clearances. Instead, he looked for midfielders and helped Argentina build attacks from the back. As the group stage progressed, Argentina grew stronger with every match, and Martínez remained one of their most consistent performers. Round of 32. Argentina entered the knockout stage knowing there was no room for mistakes. The pace increased. The tackles became harder. Every attack carried greater danger. Martínez responded exactly as fans expected. He played with controlled aggression, winning important duels while avoiding reckless challenges. His ability to read danger early meant Argentina rarely found themselves exposed through the middle. Time after time, he stepped in to intercept passes before they reached dangerous areas. It wasn't spectacular. It was simply outstanding defending. Round of 16. The round of 16 demanded another disciplined performance. Argentina faced an opponent determined to attack quickly through the center. Martínez stayed close to his defensive partner, ensuring there was never enough space for opposing forwards to exploit. Several dangerous attacks were stopped by perfectly timed tackles. He also produced a number of crucial clearances that relieved pressure during difficult moments. As Argentina progressed, Martínez celebrated every defensive action almost like a goal. That passion lifted everyone around him. Quarter-final. The quarter-final proved to be one of Argentina's toughest tests. The game became increasingly physical as both teams battled for a place in the semi-finals. Martínez thrived in those conditions. He fought for every loose ball, blocked dangerous shots, and refused to allow attackers any time on the ball. Even after 90 exhausting minutes, he continued chasing opponents, encouraging teammates, and organizing the defensive line. His determination played a major role in Argentina reaching another semi-final. Semi-final. With a place in the World Cup final at stake, every defensive mistake could have ended Argentina's dream. Martínez delivered one of his most mature performances of the tournament. Rather than diving into tackles, he stayed patient, forcing attackers into difficult positions before winning possession cleanly. His communication with the goalkeeper and fellow defenders ensured Argentina remained compact throughout the match. When the final whistle blew, Argentina had secured another appearance in the World Cup final. Much of the credit belonged to a defense led by Lisandro Martínez. Final. The World Cup final represented the biggest challenge of the tournament. Facing one of the world's strongest attacking teams, Martínez knew he would have to be at his absolute best. From the opening whistle, he played with incredible intensity. He made several important interceptions, blocked dangerous shooting opportunities, and never stopped competing. Although Argentina ultimately fell short in the final, Martínez left everything on the pitch. His commitment never faded for a single moment. Win or lose, performances like that earn respect from football fans everywhere. Why he was one of the tournament's best. What separates Lisandro Martínez from many defenders isn't just his ability. It's his mentality. He treats every duel as if it's the most important moment of the match. He refuses to give attackers an easy touch. He celebrates defensive actions with the same passion that strikers celebrate goals. That attitude inspired Argentina throughout the tournament. Why he earns number 6. Argentina didn't reach another World Cup final by accident. They got there because players like Lisandro Martínez refused to let standards drop. His courage, leadership, consistency, and fighting spirit made him one of the outstanding defenders of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. He proved once again that determination can outweigh size, and that the heart of a defender is measured by commitment, not height. For another unforgettable World Cup campaign, Lisandro Martínez takes the number 6 spot on our countdown. When people think about Spain, they usually think of beautiful football, quick passing, intelligent movement, complete control of possession. But winning a World Cup requires much more than keeping the ball. It requires defenders who are willing to run for 90 minutes, recover possession, and turn defense into attack in an instant. Few players did that better than Pedro Porro. Throughout the 2026 FIFA World Cup, Porro wasn't just Spain's right back, he became one of the team's biggest weapons. Every match showcased his incredible stamina, technical ability, and tactical discipline. As Spain marched all the way to lifting the trophy, Porro quietly established himself as one of the best defenders of the tournament. Number 5. Pedro Porro, Spain. Playing as a fullback in Spain's system isn't easy. You're expected to defend against world-class wingers, support every attack, and still have the energy to recover when possession is lost. Pedro Porro made it look effortless. From the opening match to the World Cup final, he was everywhere. Whether it was making a crucial interception inside his own penalty area or delivering dangerous crosses in the attacking third, Porro never stopped working. Rope stage. Spain entered the tournament looking like one of the favorites. Their possession-based style allowed them to control games, but it also demanded a lot from both fullbacks. Porro embraced that responsibility. In every group stage match, he constantly pushed forward to create width while remaining disciplined enough to recover whenever Spain lost the ball. Opponents tried to target the space behind him. Very few found success. One of his biggest strengths was his passing. Instead of forcing crosses into crowded penalty areas, he patiently waited for the right opportunity, helping Spain maintain control of the game. By the end of the group stage, Porro had become one of the most reliable players in Luis de la Fuente's squad. Round of 32. Spain entered the knockout stage knowing that every mistake could end their World Cup dream. Porro raised his level once again. He was aggressive without being reckless, winning tackles cleanly and preventing dangerous counterattacks before they developed. His communication with the center-backs ensured Spain remained compact even when pushing large numbers of players forward. Whenever Spain regained possession, Porro immediately became an attacking outlet. His overlapping runs stretched opposing defenses and created space for Spain's creative midfielders to exploit. It was another complete performance. Round of 16. The round of 16 tested Spain's patience. Their opponents defended deep and looked to strike on the counterattack. That meant Porro had to balance attack and defense perfectly. Every time Spain lost possession, he sprinted back into position. Several dangerous attacks were stopped because Porro recovered just in time to block crosses or force attackers away from goal. His decision-making stood out once again. He knew exactly when to press high and when to stay alongside his fellow defenders. That tactical intelligence became one of Spain's greatest strengths throughout the tournament. Quarter-final. The quarter-final brought a faster, more physical contest. Porro responded with one of his best performances. He won key one-on-one battles, intercepted dangerous passes, and remained composed under constant pressure. Late in the match, with fatigue beginning to affect both teams, he was still making recovery runs from one penalty area to the other. That level of endurance highlighted just how important he had become to Spain's success. Semi-final. By the semi-final, Spain looked increasingly confident. Their defensive organization frustrated opponents, and Porro played a massive role in maintaining that stability. He limited dangerous attacks down his side of the pitch while continuing to support Spain's attack whenever opportunities appeared. Several of Spain's best attacking moves started with Porro calmly winning possession before quickly moving the ball forward. His contribution often went unnoticed because he made difficult moments look simple. That's the mark of an elite defender. World Cup final. The biggest game in football demands the biggest performances. Porro delivered exactly that. Facing relentless pressure, he remained calm from the first whistle to the last. He tracked dangerous runners, blocked important crosses, and made crucial tackles whenever Spain needed him. Even in the closing stages, when legs were beginning to tire, Porro continued making overlapping runs to give Spain an extra attacking option. When the final whistle sounded and Spain were crowned world champions, his celebration reflected weeks of hard work, sacrifice, and consistency. While goals often define finals, defenders make those victories possible. Pedro Porro certainly did. He was one of the tournament's best. Porro represented everything modern football asks of a fullback. He defended with intelligence. He attacked with confidence. He never stopped running. Most importantly, he performed at the same high level in every single match. That consistency helped Spain become world champions. Why he earns number 5. Winning a World Cup is never about individual brilliance alone. It's about players who consistently perform their role without letting standards slip. Pedro Porro did exactly that. He combined energy, discipline, technical quality, and tactical awareness to become one of Spain's most dependable players throughout the tournament. While others scored the goals that made the headlines, Porro's work often laid the foundation for those moments to happen. For an outstanding tournament and a vital role in Spain's World Cup triumph, Pedro Porro takes the number 5 spot on our countdown. Some defenders rely on experience. Others rely on speed. Dayot Upamecano brings something even more intimidating: power. Standing over 6 feet tall with incredible pace for a center-back, Upamecano has become one of the most complete defenders in world football. He combines physical strength with composure on the ball, making him just as comfortable stopping attacks as he is starting them. At the 2026 FIFA World Cup, France once again assembled one of the strongest squads in the tournament. With world-class attackers leading the charge, it was easy to overlook the men at the back. But throughout France's journey, Upamecano quietly became one of their most important players. The role of a center-back has changed dramatically over the years. Today's defenders are expected to do much more than clear crosses and make tackles. They need to be calm under pressure, comfortable in possession, and intelligent enough to read the game before danger develops. Upamecano delivered all of that throughout the tournament. Whether France were dominating possession or defending under pressure, he remained composed and dependable. The group stage. France entered the World Cup as one of the favorites, and from the very first match, Upamecano looked completely at ease. His partnership in central defense gave France the confidence to play an aggressive style, knowing there was someone behind capable of dealing with almost any situation. One of his biggest strengths during the group stage was his recovery pace. Whenever opponents attempted to play long balls behind France's defense, Upamecano reacted immediately. He closed down attackers quickly and prevented dangerous situations before they could fully develop. His physical presence was equally impressive. Crosses into the penalty area rarely caused problems because Upamecano consistently won aerial battles, clearing the danger before opponents had the chance to finish. As France progressed through the group stage unbeaten, their defensive foundation continued to grow stronger. Round of 32. Knockout football always demands a different mentality. Every challenge carries greater importance. Every mistake could mean elimination. Upamecano understood that perfectly. Throughout France's round of 32 match, he defended with remarkable discipline. He avoided unnecessary fouls, stayed compact with his defensive partner, and constantly communicated with teammates to ensure there were no gaps for attackers to exploit. When France needed someone to win the first ball, Upamecano was there. When they needed someone to stop a counterattack, he was there again. It was another commanding performance. Round of 16. The round of 16 presented France with a more dangerous attacking opponent. For long periods, Upamecano found himself defending against quick forwards looking to exploit even the smallest mistake. They found very little success. His positioning remained outstanding throughout the match. Rather than rushing into tackles, he stayed patient, forcing attackers away from goal before winning possession cleanly. His ability to remain calm under pressure helped France maintain control during difficult moments. By the final whistle, another clean defensive display had helped send France into the quarterfinals. Quarter-final. The quarter-final proved to be one of France's toughest matches of the tournament. Both teams attacked with intensity, creating an open game that demanded complete concentration from every defender. Upamecano rose to the occasion. He made several vital clearances inside the penalty area, blocked dangerous shots, and won crucial headers during a series of late set pieces. Whenever France came under sustained pressure, he refused to panic. Instead, he organized the backline and ensured everyone stayed focused. Those moments of leadership often go unnoticed, but they are essential during knockout football. Semi-final. The semi-final brought another high-pressure battle with a place in the World Cup final at stake. France's opponents attacked with pace and confidence, forcing Upamecano to remain alert from start to finish. His reading of the game was exceptional. Several dangerous through balls were intercepted before attackers could get a touch. He also stepped forward confidently whenever opportunities arose to break up attacks in midfield. Although France narrowly missed out on reaching another final, Upamecano finished the tournament with his reputation stronger than ever. What made him stand out? One quality separated Upamecano from many defenders in the tournament: his balance. He was powerful without becoming reckless, aggressive without losing discipline, strong in the air but equally comfortable defending against quick attackers on the ground. Few defenders can combine all those qualities at such a high level. That versatility made him invaluable throughout France's campaign. Why he earns number 4. France once again demonstrated why they remain one of the strongest football nations in the world. A major reason was the consistency of their defense. At the heart of that defense stood Dayot Upamecano. He won crucial battles. He led from the back. He remained calm when the pressure was highest. He delivered one outstanding performance after another throughout the tournament. For his commanding displays and unwavering consistency, he takes the number 4 spot on our list of the best defenders at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Every championship-winning team has players who don't always grab the headlines but become impossible to replace. For Spain in 2026, one of those players was Marc Cucurella. His name might not have appeared on the score sheet every match, but his influence was everywhere. Whether it was winning possession high up the pitch, making a last-ditch tackle, or supporting attacks down the left wing, Cucurella never stopped working. His energy was contagious. His determination inspired those around him. And as Spain marched towards another World Cup title, he proved why modern football values fullbacks more than ever before. Long before Spain lifted the trophy, Cucurella had already established himself as one of the tournament's most consistent performers. Every match demanded something different from him. Sometimes he spent long periods defending against dangerous wingers. Other times he was almost playing as an extra midfielder, helping Spain dominate possession. No matter the role, he adapted without hesitation. That versatility became one of Spain's biggest strengths throughout the tournament. Group stage. Spain opened the World Cup with confidence, controlling possession and dictating the tempo in every match. Cucurella played a huge role in making that possible. Whenever Spain built attacks from the back, he offered an easy passing option, allowing the team to escape pressure and move the ball into dangerous areas. Defensively, he was just as reliable. Opponents repeatedly tried to attack down his side, hoping to exploit the space created by his forward runs. Very few succeeded. His recovery speed allowed him to get back into position quickly, while his aggressive pressing prevented attackers from settling comfortably on the ball. What impressed many observers most was his consistency. Whether Spain were leading comfortably or protecting a narrow advantage, Cucurella approached every challenge with the same intensity. Round of 32. As the knockout stage began, every mistake became more costly. Spain faced a disciplined opponent determined to frustrate them. For Cucurella, patience became just as important as energy. He chose his moments carefully, knowing when to join attacks and when to stay alongside the center-backs. Several dangerous counterattacks were stopped because of his excellent positioning. His ability to read the game meant Spain rarely looked exposed on the left side. Late in the match, after another successful defensive intervention, the Spanish supporters rose to applaud him. It was recognition for the countless small moments that often decide knockout football. Round of 16. Spain vs. Portugal. The round of 16 produced one of the biggest matches of the tournament. Portugal attacked with pace, particularly through Nuno Mendes and their dangerous wide players. Cucurella faced one of his toughest assignments. From the opening whistle, he matched every run, closed down every cross, and refused to allow Portugal's attackers time to settle. Several times he recovered possession before Portugal could create clear scoring opportunities. His work rate remained incredible throughout the match. Even in the final minutes, he was still pressing high up the pitch before sprinting back to defend moments later. Spain eventually progressed, and Cucurella was widely praised for one of his best performances of the tournament. Quarter-final. Confidence continued to grow as Spain reached the quarterfinals. Cucurella looked increasingly comfortable with every game. He won important tackles in wide areas, linked well with Spain's midfield, and constantly offered support whenever the attack shifted to the left side. One of his greatest qualities throughout the tournament was knowing exactly when to commit to a challenge. Rather than diving in, he waited for attackers to make the first move before winning the ball cleanly. That discipline helped Spain avoid unnecessary fouls in dangerous positions. Semi-final. With a place in the World Cup final on the line, Spain faced another technically gifted opponent. The intensity of the match tested every defender. Cucurella responded with remarkable maturity. He remained composed under pressure, made several important interceptions, and consistently won possession without disrupting Spain's shape. Whenever Spain needed to relieve pressure, he carried the ball forward confidently, giving his teammates valuable breathing space. It was another complete performance. World Cup Final. The final represented the biggest test of Spain's tournament. Every player understood what was at stake. From the first whistle, Cucurella played with incredible focus. He tracked dangerous runners, blocked crosses into the penalty area, and made several timely recoveries whenever Spain looked vulnerable. His communication with the defenders around him helped keep Spain organized during the most difficult periods of the match. As the final minutes ticked away, fatigue was visible across the pitch. Not for Cucurella. He was still making overlapping runs, pressing opponents, and chasing every loose ball. When the referee finally blew for full time, Spain were world champions. Cucurella dropped to the ground in celebration, knowing he had played a huge part in one of the greatest moments of his career. What made him different? Statistics tell only part of the story. Cucurella's greatest strength wasn't measured by goals or assists. It was his relentless commitment. He never stopped running. He never avoided difficult challenges. And he never let his concentration drop, regardless of the score. Those qualities gave Spain balance throughout the tournament. Why he earns number 3. World Cup winners are built on consistency. Marc Cucurella delivered exactly that. Match after match, he combined intelligent defending with tireless attacking support, giving Spain an advantage on both sides of the ball. His performances rarely made dramatic headlines, but inside the Spanish dressing room, everyone understood how valuable he had become. For his outstanding consistency, leadership, and contribution to Spain's World Cup triumph, Marc Cucurella takes the number 3 spot on our countdown. Great defenders don't always need to make spectacular tackles. Sometimes, their greatest strength is making the game look simple. That's exactly what William Saliba did throughout the 2026 FIFA World Cup. At just 25 years old, Saliba had already established himself as one of the finest center-backs in club football. But a World Cup is different. It's where reputations are tested against the very best players on the biggest stage. By the end of the tournament, there was little doubt that Saliba had passed that test. With his calmness under pressure, outstanding positioning, and ability to dominate both on the ground and in the air, he became the heart of France's defense. Every successful defense needs a leader. Someone who stays composed when the pressure rises. Someone who makes the right decision instead of the dramatic one. For France, that player was William Saliba. Throughout the tournament, he gave his teammates confidence. His presence allowed France to play with a high defensive line, knowing they had a defender capable of recovering quickly if danger appeared. That trust became one of France's biggest strengths. Group stage. France entered the competition as one of the favorites, and Saliba immediately showed why he had become one of Europe's most respected defenders. From the opening match, he looked completely in control. He rarely allowed opposing strikers to receive the ball facing goal. Instead, he positioned himself perfectly, forcing attackers into wide areas where they posed less danger. His anticipation stood out. Time after time, he stepped forward to intercept passes before they reached dangerous positions. When crosses entered France's penalty area, Saliba dominated in the air, clearing the danger with authority. Just as importantly, he remained composed in possession. Rather than clearing the ball aimlessly, he helped France build attacks from the back with accurate, intelligent passing. By the end of the group stage, he had barely put a foot wrong. Round of 32. France's first knockout match demanded complete concentration. The tempo increased, and every defensive action carried extra importance. Saliba responded with another commanding performance. Whenever France lost possession, he reacted immediately, cutting out passing lanes before the opposition could launch dangerous counterattacks. His communication with Upamecano ensured the defensive line remained organized throughout the match. Several attacks broke down simply because Saliba was already standing in the right place. It's a quality that often goes unnoticed but separates elite defenders from good ones. France progressed comfortably, and Saliba was once again among the team's best performers. Round of 16. The round of 16 presented a more physical contest. Opposing forwards tried to challenge Saliba directly, hoping to force mistakes. Instead, they found themselves frustrated. Saliba won aerial duels with ease. He stayed patient in one-on-one situations and rarely committed unnecessary fouls. Whenever attackers attempted to dribble past him, his timing was almost perfect. He waited for the right moment before stepping in cleanly to regain possession. It was another defensive masterclass. Quarter-final. As France reached the quarterfinals, the pressure continued to grow. Every match felt like a final. Saliba embraced the challenge. He produced several crucial interceptions that prevented dangerous attacks before they could develop. Late in the second half, with France protecting a narrow advantage, he made one of the tournament's defining defensive moments, throwing himself in front of a powerful shot that looked destined for goal. That block preserved France's lead and helped send them into the semi-finals. It was exactly the kind of sacrifice that teammates never forget. Semi-final. The semi-final tested every aspect of Saliba's game. He faced pace, physicality, and constant attacking pressure. Yet he never appeared rushed. Instead of chasing attackers, he controlled the space around him, forcing opponents into difficult decisions. His composure spread throughout the French defense. Whenever teammates looked under pressure, Saliba remained calm, offering simple passing options and keeping everyone organized. Although France narrowly missed out on reaching another World Cup final, his performance was widely praised by analysts and supporters alike. What made him one of the best? Many defenders rely on athleticism. Others rely on aggression. Saliba combines both with exceptional intelligence. He knows where danger will appear before it happens. He rarely needs desperate tackles because his positioning prevents those situations from developing. His calmness also allows France to play confidently from the back, turning defense into attack with remarkable efficiency. Those qualities make him one of the complete center-backs in modern football. Why he earns number 2. Only one defender performed at a slightly higher level during the 2026 FIFA World Cup. But William Saliba came incredibly close. Match after match, he delivered outstanding performances against some of the world's most dangerous attackers. He defended with authority. He led with composure. And he gave France the stability needed to challenge for another World Cup title. For his remarkable consistency and leadership throughout the tournament, William Saliba proudly takes the number 2 spot on our countdown. Every World Cup creates a new superstar. Sometimes it's a striker who scores the winning goal. Sometimes it's a goalkeeper who becomes unbeatable. And every once in a while, a defender comes along and completely changes the way people think about the position. That player was Pau Cubarsí. At just 19 years old, the Barcelona centre-back walked into the biggest tournament in football carrying expectations that would overwhelm most experienced professionals. Instead of shrinking under the pressure, he embraced it. By the end of the tournament, he wasn't just a World Cup winner. He was named the FIFA Young Player of the tournament, becoming one of the faces of Spain's historic triumph and proving that age means very little when your football intelligence is years ahead of everyone else. When Spain announced their squad, many fans were excited to watch Lamine Yamal. Few expected another teenager to dominate headlines from the opposite end of the pitch. Cubarsí quickly became the heartbeat of Spain's defense. His performances were never built on flashy tackles or reckless aggression. Instead, they were built on calmness. Every time Spain lost possession, he already seemed to know where the danger would appear. Every time opponents searched for space, Cubarsí was already there. It was defending at its simplest, and at its highest level. The group stage. Spain entered the tournament determined to play their traditional style of football. Possession, patience, control. For that style to work, the defenders needed complete confidence on the ball. Cubarsí delivered exactly that. Whenever goalkeeper Unai Simon played the ball into defense, Cubarsí looked completely comfortable. He rarely rushed his passes. Instead, he waited for the right option, helping Spain play through the opposition's press instead of simply clearing the ball. His passing became one of the biggest talking points of the tournament. Match after match, he completed passes with incredible accuracy, helping Spain control games from the very first phase of build-up. Defensively, he looked even more impressive. He read through balls before they became dangerous. He stepped in confidently to intercept passes. And despite his age, he showed remarkable composure against experienced international forwards. Spain completed the group stage unbeaten, conceding very few clear chances. Much of that defensive stability began with Cubarsí. Round of 32. The knockout stage is where pressure truly begins. One mistake can end a nation's dream. Cubarsí never looked affected. His decision-making remained calm and mature. Rather than diving into tackles, he stayed patient, forcing attackers into difficult positions before winning the ball cleanly. Every successful interception allowed Spain to restart another attack. His confidence spread throughout the team. Even under pressure, Spain continued building from the back because everyone trusted Cubarsí with the ball. Round of 16. By the round of 16, opponents had started targeting Spain's young defender, hoping to expose his lack of experience. Instead, Cubarsí responded with another outstanding display. His positioning frustrated opposing forwards all night. Whenever attackers tried to spin in behind him, he anticipated their movement and recovered possession with remarkable ease. His calmness under pressure stood out once again. Even when surrounded by opponents, he found a teammate instead of forcing a clearance. It was football played with intelligence rather than panic. Quarter-final. The quarter-final demanded another disciplined defensive performance. Spain faced an opponent determined to attack quickly whenever possession changed. Cubarsí became the organizer of Spain's defensive line. He constantly communicated with his teammates, ensuring everyone remained compact and difficult to break down. Several dangerous attacks ended before they reached Spain's penalty area simply because Cubarsí had already read the pass. Moments like those rarely appear in highlight reels. But coaches notice them. Teammates appreciate them. And championships are built on them. Semi-final, Spain versus France. The semi-final against France was one of Spain's biggest tests. France possessed one of the most dangerous attacks in the tournament, filled with pace, movement, and individual quality. Cubarsí responded with another masterclass. He stayed composed throughout the match, winning key duels, reading dangerous situations early, and helping Spain keep one of the tournament's strongest attacking teams under control. Spain produced a disciplined performance to win 2-0 and book their place in the World Cup final. Afterwards, Cubarsí spoke about the unity within the squad, saying the players had become one big family. World Cup final, Spain versus Argentina. The World Cup final against Argentina was the biggest match of Cubarsí's young career. On one side stood the defending champions. On the other stood Spain's new generation. From the opening whistle, Cubarsí looked completely unfazed. Argentina searched for openings through quick passing and intelligent movement, but Spain's young center-back rarely allowed clear opportunities. There were moments of pressure, especially early in the match, but Cubarsí recovered brilliantly and settled into another commanding performance. The match remained scoreless throughout normal time. Every interception became more important. Every clearance carried extra weight. Cubarsí continued to defend with remarkable maturity. Late in the game, Argentina were reduced to 10 men after Enzo Fernandez received a second yellow card for a foul on Cubarsí, shifting the momentum in Spain's favor. In extra time, Ferran Torres finally broke the deadlock, giving Spain a 1-0 victory and their second FIFA World Cup title. As the final whistle sounded, Cubarsí collapsed to the turf in celebration, completing one of the greatest breakthrough tournaments ever seen from a teenage defender. Why he was the best defender? What separated Pau Cubarsí from every other defender wasn't his strength. It wasn't his speed. It wasn't even his tackling. It was his understanding of the game. He always seemed one step ahead. His positioning meant he rarely needed desperate challenges. His passing allowed Spain to control possession from deep. And perhaps most impressively, he played with the confidence of someone who had already spent a decade at the highest level. By the end of the tournament, He had completed more than 96% of his passes while consistently shutting down some of the world's best attackers. Analysts praised him as one of the finest young defenders football has ever produced. Why he earns number 1. Every generation produces special defenders. Players who redefine what the position should look like. At the 2026 FIFA World Cup, Pau Cubarsí became that player. He helped lead Spain to an unbeaten World Cup triumph. He defended with extraordinary maturity. He controlled games with the ball at his feet. And he left the tournament with the FIFA Young Player Award, confirming what football fans around the world had already witnessed. For his consistency, intelligence, leadership, and unforgettable performances throughout Spain's championship-winning campaign, Pau Cubarsí is our number 1 defender of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. That brings our countdown to an end. From Nuno Mendes' relentless energy, to Achraf Hakimi's explosive runs. From William Saliba's composure, to Marc Cucurella's tireless work rate. Every defender on this list proved that championships are built on strong foundations. But one player stood above the rest. At just 19 years old, Pau Cubarsí announced himself to the world and showed that the future of defending has already arrived. If you enjoyed this series, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments. Who was your defender of the tournament? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next football countdown.